One more question. Hi, Christy.
Hello.
Let's see. Everybody say hi to Christy.
Hi,
Christy Alviar is a wonderful member of our church. She is our moderator-elect. She did not know that I would be leaving when she took that position. She's moderator next year. But one of the reasons that the church is in such good hands, because I just really think the world of Christy. Christy also happens to be the daughter of Betty and Peter Nichols. And yes. I don't know how it is they get applause, and you don't, but anyway. Oh, okay. Betty gave birth to her, she said, so, yeah. Christy, you want to introduce yourself? Anything you want to say before we get started with the questions?
Is my mic on?
Is her mic on? Let's see. It's blue.
Hello?
Are you muted? I don't know how on this one. Okay. All right. I'm going to trust it's on. Go for it. Use your teacher voice. Oh.
Hello?
Oh,
this
listen
works.
to it.
Okay. I am a mother and a teacher, so this is my favorite time of year. Because my college kids are home, and and my birthday's on Tuesday.
Yay!
So I'm loving life right now.
Yeah. Okay, do you have some questions?
So many good questions.
So many good questions. Okay.
Okay. Do you feel that you'll need to change your style of teaching or bringing the message to your new congregation, or are they a lot like us?
I don't know my new congregation as well as I know this congregation. However, I start my ministry with the assumption, and I have been assured that I have complete freedom to speak my mind, to share my theology, which is what I will do in any pulpit that I'm in. It's interesting, it's actually in my contract at the new church, which is, I had not seen that before, and I appreciate it, just that I have freedom of the pulpit for theological integrity. So my sense is that the people are a lot like these people, you people, because they're just very warm, welcoming, open-minded, smart, and dedicated people of faith.
Well, your response brings this one forward.
Okay.
What topic or topics would you use in a mic drop sermon if you didn't need to worry about the responses from congregants?
Let me just say that every sermon feels that way to me because I really do not worry about saying anything that I feel and think. I have always felt that freedom here, and I feel that freedom there. I guess the key elements that are important to me is kind of, this is my experience and my study that has led to this conclusion, whatever it may be, and I share it with you with humility, and I really want to know what you think too, especially if you disagree with me or see it differently, because that's how we all grow, is by interchanging ideas that are different. An echo chamber, it may make you feel good for a moment, but it's not a healthy dynamic if you're only surrounded by people who agree with you and who amplify your own thoughts, right? So I guess key elements of a mic drop sermon, boom, would be that sort of openness. And also just my key assumptions of, theological assumptions of the value of all religious paths and the idea that religion is meant to complete each other rather than to compete with each other. So an openness to draw wisdom and inspiration from all kinds of sources, be they religious or secular sources.
Okay.
I really think that that sort of idea is the only way that we will survive, that our planet will survive, that its peoples will survive.
Well, that kind of goes along with this one. As the world becomes more divisive, what do you think the future of the church looks like? And what is our role in that? It's a heavy one.
Yeah. The future of the church in a divided world is to heal, is to be repairers of the breach, as Isaiah says, is to always be focused on reconciliation and give and take. And, the Christian tradition has been known, has through the ages at times been very hardline, very this way or no way, confrontational, and I think that's not what the world needs. The world needs softness and understanding and love and openness and humility.
Okay, some fast ones.
Oh.
A lot of people want to come visit you.
Okay.
Is that okay?
I'm really glad you asked that. It's very important when a pastor leaves to have a time of separation from the congregation. It's important so that this congregation can let go of me and prepare yourselves for someone else who will come, who you will love too. So it's not, I know of some pastors who do things like when they leave, they let the congregation know that they're unfriending all of them on Facebook, for example. That's not something I will do.
Oh, good.
But I use that as an example of how pastors navigate those boundaries, because it's very important that pastors who are leaving do have a healthy sense of boundary. And this congregation, in order to be healthy, needs that separation too. So I'm not going to unfriend anybody on Facebook. You may want to not follow me for a while if it hurts you to see me engaging at a new church and embracing it, which I'll throw myself into, But I'll leave that to you.
We just want to come to your house.
You just want to come to my house. Well, we have a house now, actually. That's pretty cool. Lisa and I just were there. We closed on our house in Colorado Springs, and that's pretty cool. Thank you. I don't have a blanket answer for is it okay for everybody to come see me, really. It's kind of a case-by-case thing, and I want to be very cautious and respectful by saying we need a little space first for everybody's good health. I hate to say that, but I really do think that's important. Maybe 20 years. Well, not 20 years, but,
What is your favorite dessert?
Oh, my favorite dessert. It depends. I really like creamy, vanilla-y, nutty kinds of things. Ooh. Italian cream cake, creme brulee. If it has cream in the title, then I will like it.
We hope you guys on the cream relays next Sunday.
Lemon's good too. Yes.
This is a big question from Penelope.
Okay.
What does God look like? There's another question that maybe goes along with it. Can you explain how you knew you were to go to Colorado? Did God talk to you? And how did God talk to you?
What does God look like? I think the older, I was raised with God as the old white guy in the sky, I would say if there's one thing God does not look like, it's that idea of someone sitting above it all, ruling things. And in the way I was raised, that person was always white and was always old, and I think always had a beard, I would say. The older I get, the God that I interact with is harder to describe and is less personified, is more like creativity or a realm of wholeness. That's what God looks like. I once heard someone describe God as like when a star is born, or just very kind of intangible sorts of just energy and wholeness and vibrancy. To me, God looks like you. God looks like a community of love. That's God. And what was the other one? Did God, I guess in a way, I had about moving to Colorado Springs, I did have a very strong internal mystical experience that I explained in a sermon on May 1st. If you didn't hear it, that would give a fuller explanation. But it's hard for me to separate God from my deepest, most compelling feelings, It's a voice inside, not telling me what to do, but a sense of this path is opening and this is where I need to be, and this is where it brings me joy and purpose to be.
We have some thank yous. I'm sure you're going to
I'm
get
going to
more
cry
of those.
again. Oh, gosh.
Thank you for your love and sharing your talents. You've changed lives. This person writes, I like to think that the congregation is connected now, this congregation. What is something from our traditions or people that you will take to Colorado Springs?
Oh, that's a great question. I will take so much with me. Specifically, there's a way that you and that Texans in general are so open-hearted. I think that's why. Thank you. That sense of open-hearted, energetic, it will do the work, that principled, that strength, that courage, that sense of bravery that I find in this church. It's not that it is not also there, but it's here in a certain way that if I have changed your lives, you have changed mine. And this is a beautiful, healthy, vibrant community. And I'll take that with me.
Top 5 favorite songs.
Oh, gosh. Okay. I love Wagon Wheel. Rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. I love that song. One that I've just been getting into is that I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good I can do. That is such a good song. I wish I could tell you her name, the artist, but I'll put it on Facebook. Oh man, it's hard to name them. Let me think on it a second. You know how when you're trying hard to think of a particular one and you just can't even zero in on a single one, but it will come to me. Let's come back to that.
Okay. You and Lisa went to Vietnam a few years ago. Do you have places you plan to or wish to travel to, and why?
I've never been to Italy, and I would love to go because I love to eat. That's a very shallow reason, maybe, but it's not shallow, actually. Eating is really, I love to eat really good food. It's funny how like inspiration or a desire to go someplace will just come out of nowhere for me. Right now, I really don't. I have been so focused on this transition, and we went to Hawaii last year, and we loved it so much that we're going again this next January. We went to Maui. I think I've felt at home in Hawaii in a way that was very, very special to me. I'm sure we'll keep traveling, but those are two places that I would want to go again. And we have plans for Hawaii.
Those are good places.
Those are good places.
I'm just gonna throw all these out.
Yeah, okay.
What is one of your most treasured accomplishments? What are some of your future goals? And maybe what is your fondest memory here at your time here?
Treasured accomplishments. I guess the first thing that comes to mind is my son and him, just raising him, being his parent, because he's just a grand human being. For professional accomplishments, I would say serving 2 churches, this being the second one, for 10 years, and leaving both of those churches as healthier and stronger and happier than when I came. Yeah, and then was there another one?
Future plans?
Well, I hope in 10 years I will be leaving Colorado Springs and saying the same thing. That's my goal, they're a church that needs some continued healing from some past trauma that they've been through. And I feel like I'm a person who can help them do that. So I hope, I truly do hope. I told them I would stay 8 to 10 years. It's what I think is healthy period of time. And I will do my very best to leave them vibrant and whole.
What is one thing you hoped that we would have done during your time here as pastor that you'd like to see us accomplish?
I want to go back to that last. One of the things was one of my favorite memories from here. I forgot about that question, and I wanted. There's one date. Do y'all remember? It was probably in 2019 in the fall. We had, as a culmination of, it was our stewardship drive, which we didn't call it that, but we had the outdoor picnic, and Ann, our chef, and the foodie group provided all the food for it. And we had tables set out with tablecloths and real silver and plates, and we shared wine, and the kids sang, and it was a beautiful day. And oh my gosh, raise your hand if you were there on that day, or check in on the comment feed if you were there. I think the theme that year was the good life, and we talked about what that means, and part of that is connection with communities and investment in those communities with our resources and with our energy and with our passion. And that was a beautiful, beautiful day. Holly Ferguson organized it outside. It was spectacular. So that remains as one of my most favorite days of ministry, I think, just that sense of joy of being together. Okay, now the other question was?
One thing that you hoped we would have done during your time here. We did so much that it's hard to, I don't want to be negatively focused, but I would say one thing that I think this church needs to do is to step up the level of volunteer engagement. Whenever you see a plea for we need people to do blank, think of that as being a message to you. I need to do this.
because oftentimes we'll have a work day where there are things that need to be done, and 3 people will show up, and they work hard, but it's dispiriting to be one of those people. And you get a sense of like, nobody cares about this. And I know that's not true. So I think a more robust volunteer involvement is something that this church needs. And part of it with COVID in there, when there was no face-to-face, and we're building back from that. So I know that we can get there, but if there's one thing that I think we need stronger, it's that. Build back better.
There are a lot of questions here we did not get to, but perhaps you can address these at a different time.
Yeah, sure. Why don't I take those, and then I'll just maybe put them on Facebook once a week or something like every few days. So look for your question. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Christy, for doing this, and thank you all of y'all for